All right, class, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on lesson 2, today's lesson, so that you can copy. Here is just go here, whoops. Here's the first half. And here is the second half. So this lesson is going to keep with our common theme of division. And in this lesson, we are going to be dividing a whole number by a fraction. So the question we see is, how do I divide a whole number by a fraction? And the task to answer that question is broken up into 4 steps. And the first step for the task is to model the fraction. You'll see that constantly. So we're going to use the example of 8 divided by 2/3. So we see our whole number divided by a fraction. So yet again, we model the fraction. And if you notice here, we've got 3 boxes. 2 of them are shaded, so 2/3. Pretty simple, simple enough. And step 2, we come down here. We see that we need to divide the shaded portion into the whole number. So that is where it might get a little bit more confusing. So what we got to do is we look at our shaded portion. It's the first 2 boxes. These 2 here. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and outline those for you. These 2. And then we take our whole number. And we see that the whole number we're working with, remember we said 8, so we know that both of these 2 boxes, if you add them together, are 8. So in order to figure out what goes in each box, we divide our whole number by the amount of boxes. So we see we have 1 box and then 2 boxes there. So 8 divided by 2, which you know is 4. Okay. All right, so before we move on to step number 3, I want to delete these numbers in here because that might get confusing. But we do know that 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so step number 3 in our task is to fill in the boxes, with the same value that will add them up. So like previously, we said that if we divide this 8 up into 2 boxes, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So each of these boxes is going to be worth 4. Alrighty? So the most important rule way back when we talked about tape diagrams is once you know one box, you know all the other boxes. So if this is 4, that means this is 4, which means this final number is 4 as well. And last but not least, in order to finally solve the problem, step number 4 is to add up the value of all the boxes. So we've got 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. So our answer is 12. So the question, which was 8 divided by 2/3 is what? We know that our answer is 12. Now, that was a quick example that was already drawn out for you. So what I'm going to do next, really quickly, is do another example kind of off to the side, but I want you to be able to see all the notes. I want you to be able to see all the notes so that you can follow along with the tasks. So let's say we're doing 9 divided by 3/4. Okay, so step number 1, model the fraction. So let's go ahead and draw 3/4. There's my bar, and I got 1, 2, 3. And we know that 3/4, I'm going to shade 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. So that's 3, right? All right. So step number 2 says divide the shaded portion into the whole number. So our whole number is 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I know that 9 needs to be split up into those 3. I know that 9, I'll do that up here. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I know that, each box is worth 3. So now, step number 3 says fill in the boxes with the same value, and I know that that same value has to be 3. So there's 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, and 3 there. And finally, step number 4, add up all the boxes' value. So I've got 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and that will give me 12. So my answer here is 12 also. That's just coincidence, but that's how you do it from the top.